They say the easiest money is the kind you don't have to sweat for. I've learned the hard way that easy usually just means the cost is hidden somewhere you aren't looking. My name is Elias, and this is my testimony. I'm recording this because I need to hear myself say it out loud. I need to confirm that what happened in the Blackwood forest was real before my mind tries to rationalize it away as some fever dream brought on by isolation. It was 6 months ago. I was drowning in debt from a failed startup and desperate for anything that would pay the rent. That's when I saw the listing on a high-end house-sitting app. It seemed too good to be true. $4,000 for 2 weeks. The job? Simply exist in a house. The property was called the Aethelred Residence, located deep in the Blackwood region of northern Washington state. The deeper I got into the woods, the taller the pines became, until they felt less like trees and more like iron bars closing in around the road. When I finally pulled up the long gravel driveway, my jaw dropped. I expected a rustic cabin. What I saw was a massive, hyper-modern structure of steel and glass. It didn't fit the landscape. It looked like a spaceship that had crashed into the primordial forest. The entire front facade was floor-to-ceiling glass. It was beautiful, yes, but immediately I felt exposed. Dr. Vance met me at the door. He was a nervous man, constantly wringing his hands. He gave me the tour quickly. The place was sterile, minimalist, and cold. "The rules are simple, Elias," he said. "Keep the generator fueled, don't let the pipes freeze, and the most important thing," he tapped the paper. "Rule 4. At twilight, ensure all perimeter blinds are lowered. Do not raise them until sunrise. Under no circumstances should you acknowledge anyone standing at the tree line after dusk." I laughed. I couldn't help it. Acknowledge anyone? Dr. Vance, we are 20 miles from civilization. Who's going to be at the tree line? Bigfoot? He didn't smile. His eyes looked tired. "It's a very old forest, Elias. Sometimes locals, hikers, they get lost. They act strangely. We just find it safer to ignore them. They go away if you don't engage." He left an hour later. As his taillights faded down the driveway, the silence crashed down on me. It wasn't a peaceful silence. It was a heavy, expectant silence. The first 2 days were uneventful, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Living in a glass house is strange. During the day, you are the spectator. But at night? At night, the glass turns into a black mirror. You can't see out, but everything out there can see in. Every evening, as the sun began to dip below the pines, that twilight hour, I felt a primal urge to follow rule number 4. I lowered those thick blackout shades. Only then could I breathe easy. It started on the 3rd night. I was in the kitchen. It was around 10 p.m. The shades were down. Tap. It was faint, like a fingernail against a window pane. I froze. Tap, tap. No, that was rhythmic. That was intentional. I walked slowly into the vast living room. The sound was coming from the massive central window. I stood there, my heart hammering against my ribs. Dr. Vance's voice echoed in my head. "Under no circumstances should you acknowledge anyone." Hello? Silence. Then, a sound that made the hair on my arms stand straight up. Giggling. It sounded like a child, maybe a little girl. It was muffled by the glass, but it was unmistakable. A light, airy giggle in the middle of a wilderness that should have been empty. I retreated to the bedroom, locked the door, and didn't sleep a wink. The next morning, I checked the ground outside. Soft dirt, but there were no footprints. None. Not an animal, not a human. The dirt was completely undisturbed. Day 4 was the turning point. That was the day I broke the rule. It was twilight. The sky was that deep, unsettling blue just before total darkness. I was in the living room, reaching for the control panel to lower the shades. Something caught my eye. At the far edge of the cleared lawn, right where the manicured grass met the dense wall of pine forest, something was standing there. It was just a silhouette against the dying light, too tall to be a child. It looked like a man, very thin, standing perfectly rigid. My hand hovered over the button. I should have pressed it. God, I should have just pressed it. But curiosity is a terrible thing. I stepped closer to the glass. The figure wasn't moving. It was just waiting. I raised my hand in an awkward wave, acknowledging it. The moment I did, the figure took one step forward onto the lawn, then another. It moved strangely, jerkily, like a stop-motion animation puppet missing a few frames. Panic seized me. I slammed my fist onto the control button. The heavy motorized shades began their slow descent. I watched through the narrowing gap as the figure broke into a run. It was running toward the house. Not a human run. It was too fast, its limbs flailing at impossible angles. The shades clattered shut just as it reached the patio. I stood there in the sudden darkness, breathing like I'd just run a marathon. Then came the knock. It wasn't a polite tap anymore. It was a heavy, flat fist pounding on the reinforced glass. "Elias?" a voice called from outside. I nearly jumped out of my skin. It knew my name. "Elias, open up. It's cold out here." The voice. It was wrong. It sounded flat, monotone, like someone reading phonetically from a script they didn't understand. "Who are you?" I shouted, backing away. "I am a hiker. I am lost. Dr. Vance said you would help me. Open the shade, Elias." "Dr. Vance isn't here. Go away. I'm calling the police." "The police are far away, Elias. Just open the shade. I want to see you." It wasn't asking to come in anymore. It wanted to see me. The pounding stopped. I heard footsteps, heavy, dragging footsteps, moving along the gravel path. It was circling. I ran around the interior, checking the locks. Hours passed. I sat in the dark, listening. Sometimes it would scratch the glass, a long, screeching sound. Around 3 a.m., it came back to the big living room window. "Elias," the voice whispered, right against the glass. "I know you're in there. I can hear your heart. It's beating very fast. If you don't open the shade, I'm going to break the glass." The sound was like a gunshot. I saw a spiderweb fracture appear on the black glass. Another one. It was hitting the glass with something incredibly hard. I scrambled backward, tripping over an ottoman. It wasn't the big window. It was the smaller window near the fireplace. The shade billowed inward. A hand reached through the torn shade. It wasn't a hand. It was pale, too long. The fingers had too many joints. I didn't scream. I couldn't. I scrambled to my feet and bolted for the basement door. I threw myself down the stairs, slamming the heavy metal door behind me and sliding the deadbolt home. I sat in that pitch-black concrete room. Above me, I heard the sounds of something moving through the house. It wasn't walking anymore. It sounded like it was slithering, dragging itself across the hardwood floors, smashing vases, tearing furniture apart. And every now and then, between the crashing sounds, I heard that giggle again, that sweet, innocent little girl giggle. I don't know when the noises stopped. I must have passed out from sheer terror. When I woke up, sunlight was streaming through the cracks. I crept upstairs. The house was demolished. The shade over the fireplace window was shredded. There was glass everywhere. But the thing was gone. I didn't pack. I drove away faster than I've ever driven in my life. I called Dr. Vance from a gas station 25 miles away. "I'm leaving," I said. "Keep the money." There was a long silence. Then he let out a sigh. "Did you look at it, Elias?" he asked quietly. "At Twilight?" "Yes." "I'm sorry," he said. "Most people do. Human nature." I'm back in the city now. I sleep with the lights on. Sometimes when I'm walking home in the evening, just as the sun is setting, I feel that urge to look over my shoulder. I know it's irrational. I know I'm hundreds of miles away from Blackwood. But sometimes, when the city gets quiet late at night, I swear I can hear tapping on my little basement window. And I wonder if it followed me, or if I just opened a door in my own mind that can never be closed again. This is my testimony. If you ever see a job listing for a glass house in the Blackwood forest, run the other way. Some things are better left alone in the dark.